The age of artificial intelligence. What does that mean for pathology?
What we are talking about is changing our entire thought pattern, actively being influenced on a day-to-day basis. And that is not something that we can, trivially implement as a proficiency test. It has to be a very thoughtful process happening at the college level, at the institutional level, and at a personal level as well as a professional pathologist.
This is Path News Network, Daily Edition from the College of American Pathologists. I'm Nick Lonnie with a special edition of the podcast. It's Tuesday, July 14th. Since ChatGPT captured the public imagination in November 2022, AI has been the next big thing, dominating headlines and public discussions. Of course, pathologists and radiologists have used machine learning tools to analyze images and data for many years. That AI would be the future of pathology was clear enough that the CAP launched its AI committee a full 7 years ago. But over the past year or two, progress has accelerated. Pathologists are increasingly adopting AI tools for clinical decision support, personalized medicine, automation, reporting, research, and other applications. And while digitization rates remain low at 10 to 15% of laboratories, growing adoption of digital slides will only fuel the AI fire. It's a lot to get used to. Here's Dr. Matthew Hanna, Vice Chair of Pathology Information at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center and Chair of the CAP's AI Committee.
With the technology development happening so rapidly, it is a constant learning curve of everything that's out there, how the field is evolving, how the technology is evolving. And so what I think has been challenging is how do you wrap standards with, standard practices or checklist items with some of these.
The CAP is responding in several ways, including working with peer organizations on digital pathology interoperability and standards, as well as ramping up member support on how to use AI in the laboratory.
We are at the point where we will be able to actually start offering, an implementation guide for pathologists on how to actually use these tools. So I think we put a very big effort into the education. We've had webinars and podcasts and some early manuscripts, publications about what the tools are, some education around there, and then how to actually go about validating these tools. And then now we're coming out with sort of targeted practical approaches on how to actually plug these into your lab and are starting the process to hopefully formally provide guidelines to the members of the college and to the community.
The CAP AI implementation series is scheduled to be released by the end of the year. It will include guidance on validation, deployment and monitoring of AI tools, recommendations on reporting when using AI applications, and more. The CAP also offers members a unique way to try out a range of different AI applications for free. The CAP's AI Studio, launched in 2025, offers a range of products from many top vendors. You can search by test, then find the appropriate products and play around with them using sample case slides. Dr. Anil Parwani, chair of the Department of Pathology at Ohio State University and a member of the CAP's AI committee, encourages members to check it out.
This AI studio is a phenomenal idea because it brings those tools from many, many different vendors right in front of the pathologist where they can take some test data and use the tool and see the interface, see how it processes, does it give the results in the right format.
The CAP plans to continue expanding the vendors and products available in the studio so that members can compare applications before their laboratory buys them.
It's almost like test driving a car. When you want to buy the car, you want to see how it feels. Does it do its job? Are you happy when you sit in this car?
You can find the CAP's AI Studio at aistudio.cap.org. Dr. Rama Gulapalli, Associate Professor of Pathology, Chemical, and Bioengineering at the University of New Mexico, is also a member of the CAP's AI committee. He has focused on ethical issues raised by AI.
So AI technologies are very powerful. At the same time, if they are adopted without much thought and concern, there is a real danger of pathologists losing their core value in terms of healthcare, and the skill sets they bring to the table. And this would be this topic known as de-skilling. And how is that going to impact the practice of pathology is one of the things that interest me. There is another entity known as automation bias, which is essentially once AI is in place, humans tend to kind of overly rely on the outputs from AI to the exclusion of their own hard-earned skills.
Placing too much trust in AI is a problem for many professions, but Dr. Gulapalli thinks pathology is especially vulnerable.
Especially in a time pressure driven specialty like pathology, where, for example, if you're in a community pathology practice and you have been assigned a tool that this is something that you can rely on without providing a proper description of what the hazards are, over time, what will happen is you will kind of not second guess or just adapt what it has to kind of offer you, without concern for what times it can go wrong. And again, what we all need to remember is that AI is not infallible. It will make mistakes. And if one gets sidetracked due to issues like automation bias, that becomes a hazard for patient care in the long run.
The CAP can play a role in addressing these risks by promoting AI governance policies and other guidelines, Dr. Gulapalli said.
Focusing on these biases as a part of the accreditation standards. We can think about designing peer review programs that test the pathologists against the AI against pathologists, and then peer groups against peer groups in terms of AI usage or so forth.
But ultimately, Dr. Gulapalli said, AI will require a different philosophical approach.
This is just not a tool. This is just not an instrument, unlike your routine stuff. Over there, there are a lot of safety guards built in. There are proficiency tests that can handle it. But with AI, what we are talking about is changing our entire thought pattern, actively being influenced on a day-to-day basis. And that is not something that we can trivially implement as a proficiency test. It has to be a very thoughtful process happening at the college level, at the institutional level, and at a personal level as well as a professional pathologist.
Despite the many challenges, he's optimistic about AI's impact on pathology.
Where AI, I think, is not as good, will probably not get there anytime soon, is its ability to merge and integrate diverse streams of information, which is what I'm trying to say is that we pathologists tend to forget that we are physicians, which means we have a strong basis of clinical education and training. We need to increasingly bring that back into the practice. Your ability to diagnose a patient should not solely rest on the foundation of being able to detect a pattern or a disease or a cancer. What value addition you are creating by your ability as a human to integrate diverse streams of information, from the clinical element to the molecular element to the imaging element, in crafting a diagnostic narrative that not only diagnoses the patient but also prognosticates how they are going to respond, what therapies are going to be useful. So this is where, as a molecular pathologist, I feel very, very excited about the future of pathology.
Dr. Parwani also thinks AI will ultimately help pathologists help patients.
So I think the biggest benefit right now is if you look around globally, there's a shortage of pathologists. There is also increased number of cases per pathologist, and the complexity of the cases is going up. So what I used to know when I was a resident in my training, that has amplified. You're basically learning from the fire hydrant every day. There is so much information out there. So on a daily basis, it's hard to keep up with it. So AI can help us synthesize the information, bring the relevant information, check images for quality. Quality is a big thing.
We'll give Dr. Hanna the last word.
I'll steal a quote from Dr. Cardone, who's on another CAP committee. But I think pathologies, we've historically held this title as being the doctor's doctor, and I think we are adding another label of trying to be the patient's partner along this journey, where we are using a lot of these tools and being more of an interface within the patient care workflows.
Well, that's all for today. See the show notes for more information, and feel free to share this special edition on social media. We'll be back Wednesday at 5 a.m. Eastern for another episode of the Daily Edition. I'm Nick Lonnie. Have a wonderful day.